Hi, this is Vessel from ownyourweather.com. Today in this video we are discussing polar vortex and its relationship to climate change and more specifically global warming. Okay, I already in my imagination see some eyebrows being raised, so just bear with me. Okay, before we get to that, many of you are familiar with, just bear with me here. Many of you might have heard of the butterfly effect, and that is very applicable here. So what is the butterfly effect? Well, if a butterfly just flaps its wings on one side of the earth, on the other side of the earth, it might cause a hurricane to occur. Sounds preposterous, I know, but that's a theory and it can actually happen. Climate is very much the same way, more specifically weather. You know how temperamentally it is, and with all weather and climate elements being interconnected across the globe, the smallest variation or the smallest change in one aspect of climate can have a big effect on another variable. So what does that have to do with a polar vortex? Well, some of you might remember early 2019, January, February specifically, parts of North America and Canada experienced extreme cold weather. Lake Michigan froze over near Chicago. New York experienced extreme cold weather. Montreal also. Almost the whole northern part of the United States as well as Canada experienced this extremely cold weather. And this was attributed to a polar vortex, which obviously misbehaved and wandered more south than it was supposed to. For those of you who don't know what it is, most of you actually just heard of the phrase but don't really know what it is. A polar vortex is a persistent low pressure area in the mid-upper atmosphere centered over the Arctic and extends from the troposphere to the stratosphere. This polar vortex was so intense that during this period up to 13 inches of snow fell at different places, as well as temperatures in some areas dropped to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. No, I'm not misreading and you're not hearing wrong. It is actually 40 degrees Fahrenheit minus. So, needless to say, during this period, a lot of climate deniers, whatever you want to call it, skeptics, just needed to take advantage of the situation and had comments such as, well, what happened to global warming? What happened to climate change? Where's warm weather when you're supposed to need it? Well, those people didn't actually get the whole idea, or they don't really understand exactly what a vortex is, a polar vortex is, and exactly how it forms. So I'm not here to start a fight. I'm not here to promote global warming or climate change theories. I'm not here to disprove it. I just want to provide you with the facts, give you a counterpoint, and you can decide for yourself which side you want to take, and, well, whether you want to keep on sitting on the fence or whether you want to believe this is taking place or not. So there are different common theories. The most prevalent theory regarding how a polar vortex forms is as follows. Like I said earlier on, the polar vortex is this low pressure system around about 30 miles above the Arctic, rotating at a slow pace, but it's constant. It's there the whole year round. It might weaken throughout the summer, but during the winter it strengthens again, but it's there constantly. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't disappear whatsoever. What keeps this polar vortex in place is what is called a polar front jet stream. Now, jet streams are nothing more than high-speed columns of wind that winds through the upper atmosphere at great velocities of easily up to 150 miles per hour. Now, this specific jet stream rotates around the polar vortex around 7 miles above the Earth, slightly lower, or substantially lower than the polar vortex itself, but that helps to keep the vortex in place, keeps it from wandering around, changing shape. It actually helps to contain its structural integrity. But things start to go wrong, however, when the Arctic or your polar regions starts to warm up. According to those theses, this is the main cause for the wandering or meandering of your polar vortex, which we will shortly discuss. Now, your polar regions currently are rising at temperatures double the rate than that of the rest of the planet. It's through a process called Arctic amplification, which if there's time, I'll discuss it a little bit later on. But for the meantime, let's just assume the polar, your Arctic regions are warming up at double the rate than the rest of the planet. In other words, it's warming up at an alarming rate. Now, the polar vortex can maintain its structural integrity because of the cold air. In other words, a cold polar vortex is a healthy, contained polar vortex. But now, due to the rising temperatures, it can't maintain its structural integrity anymore because it weakens the polar jet stream that circles around it and helps it maintain its form. So now your jet stream starts to buckle and dip a little bit more south, and as it dips and meanders a little bit more over southern regions, countries and regions that previously wouldn't have been influenced in any way or even wouldn't have known about the existence of a polar vortex are now experiencing what happened in the beginning of 2019. Cities like Chicago, Montreal, even New York, a lot of those cities have experienced record colds, and that is mainly due to a misbehaving or let's just say corrupted jet stream, if you want to call it that. And those are the simple facts. That's exactly how a polar vortex forms. The cold air over the Arctic that warms up, does it warm up enough to cause the jet stream to weaken enough to wander south? Possible. Is it just a freak occurrence? I don't know. But what is definitely a fact is that the warming of the air over the Arctic is definitely weakening the jet stream that keeps it in place, which causes it to wander south, and that is the reason why areas over North America during 2019 experienced these extreme weather conditions. So you decide for yourself what you want to believe. I just want to provide a counterpoint and just put everything in context and just look at this whole thing more from a global perspective and make up your own mind. And I think that's it for now. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you like this kind of videos and article summaries where I provide summaries of different weather phenomena, how it occurs, its characteristics and its effects, I've got more of those videos coming up. Hit the subscribe button and the little notification button next to it, and you'll be notified as soon as another video gets released. And I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, keep your eye on the weather. Cheers.